You know, the most powerful conversation you'll have today won't be with your boss, your partner, or the world outside. It will be the quiet one happening inside your own mind. That voice, that whisper in your thoughts, it shapes the way you move through life. It tells you what's possible. It tells you what's worth trying. And sometimes it tells you what you can't do. But here's the truth. That inner dialogue, it's not just commentary, it's creation. It's planting seeds. Seeds of either courage or fear, growth or hesitation, love or criticism. And every single day you have a choice to water the right ones. Most people go through life without realizing they're carrying an inner critic louder than the voices of encouragement that should be cheering them on. They wake up and the first thought isn't gratitude, it's inadequacy. You're behind. You're not enough. You should be further along. But I want to remind you, those thoughts, they're not facts. They're echoes of old wounds, past comparisons, or stories someone else handed you. And if you're not careful, you'll keep repeating them like a song stuck on loop. But today, you can change the music. Every day you rise, you have the power to speak life into yourself. And it doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's as simple as standing in the mirror and saying, I'm doing better than I think I am. I have what it takes. This moment doesn't define me, but my response will. Words like that are more than affirmations. They're anchors. They hold you steady when the storms of doubt start rolling in. See, your mind is listening. Every time you speak kindly to yourself, you're training it to see potential where it once saw pressure. You're learning to become your own ally, not your biggest obstacle. And over time, that changes how you carry yourself. You walk into the same situation, but now you carry clarity, not confusion, strength, not shame, direction, not distraction. But don't get me wrong. It's not about pretending life's easy or that everything's perfect. This isn't about ignoring pain or plastering positivity over struggle. No, it's deeper than that. It's about choosing to meet yourself with compassion even when you fall short. It's about learning how to say, that was a mistake, but I'm still worthy. It's about speaking with yourself the way you would to someone you love, because you can't build a meaningful life if your foundation is self-hatred. The most successful people you admire, their secret isn't luck or perfection. It's mindset. It's waking up each morning, no matter how heavy yesterday felt, and saying, let's try again. Not because it's easy, but because that voice inside, it started to believe in the one who carries it. So improve your words, improve your thoughts, and slowly you'll begin to improve your life. Not because the world suddenly gets softer, but because you get stronger. And when you do that, when your inner dialogue shifts from a battlefield to a place of peace, that's when the world outside starts to follow suit. Because nothing, absolutely nothing, is more powerful than a mind that has learned to speak gently, truthfully, and fearlessly to itself. Discipline isn't loud. It doesn't shout. It doesn't need applause or recognition. It's quiet, steady, and often invisible to the world. But make no mistake, it's the invisible threads of discipline that hold the fabric of your future together. Every day, you're faced with a choice, comfort or commitment. And the truth is, the life you dream about won't come to those who move only when they feel like it. It comes to those who move even when they don't. You see, discipline is doing the work long after the mood you made the promise in has left. It's waking up early when your body aches. It's saying no when every part of you wants to say yes. It's sticking to your plan not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. That's the thing. Every shortcut costs you something, but every step of discipline, it deposits strength into your soul. People often confuse discipline with restriction. They think it means denying yourself, locking away joy. But that's a misunderstanding. Discipline is not about punishment. It's about alignment. It's about honoring what matters most, even when distractions beg for your attention. Because the most dangerous enemy of greatness isn't failure, it's comfort. It's that soft voice that whispers, "You can skip today, just this once. You've earned a break." And before you know it, a week has passed, a month, a year, and the life you wanted still lives in your imagination. But when you choose discipline, you're not just choosing to improve your habits. You're choosing to protect your vision. You're choosing to keep a promise to yourself. And that, my friend, is where real power begins. Because the moment you realize that you can count on yourself, that your word means something even when no one's watching, that's when your confidence becomes unshakable. Now let's be honest. There will be days when you don't want to show up. Days when the grind feels pointless, when results are slow, when progress is invisible. But discipline whispers, do it anyway, because the growth is in the doing, not in the feeling. And eventually those small, unseen efforts, they add up. Not all at once, but over time, quietly, like water carving stone. There's a sacredness in choosing the hard path when the easy one is right there. Because what you're building is more than a routine. You're building a version of you that's strong enough to handle the weight of your own future. One rep at a time, one choice at a time, one silent victory after another. And don't wait for motivation to knock on your door. It rarely shows up when you need it most. Train yourself to move without it. Make discipline your rhythm, your anchor, your daily act of self-respect. Let it become who you are, not something you try to do when the stars align. Because when the dust settles and the noise fades, it's not the wishers, the dreamers, or the talkers who rise. It's the ones who kept going, who kept showing up, who chose structure over excuses and vision over impulse. And if you do that, if you learn to master yourself before the world ever tries to, there will come a day when you look back and realize that every hard decision, every early morning, every quiet sacrifice became the very reason you succeeded. There's something most people never learn, something that quietly defines the course of their lives. It's not how much talent they have, not how smart they are, not even how lucky they get. It's how they react. Because in the end, it's not what happens to you that shapes your life, it's how you respond to it. Life will test you. That's not a maybe, that's a guarantee. People will misunderstand you. Plans will fall apart. You'll face moments when the weight of disappointment feels too heavy to carry, and in those moments, you'll want to react quickly, emotionally, impulsively. But just because something provokes you doesn't mean it deserves your power. You see, every time you react out of anger, fear, or ego, you give something else control over your peace. You hand over your strength to a moment that doesn't deserve it. But the strongest people aren't the loudest. They're not the ones who always have something to say. They're the ones who have learned how to pause, to breathe, to observe before they respond. That pause, that space between stimulus and reaction, that's where wisdom lives. It takes courage to stay calm when everything around you is shaking. It takes strength to respond with grace when someone's trying to pull you into chaos. But that, right there, is growth. Growth isn't just waking up early or working hard. It's learning how to carry yourself when your emotions want to carry you away. Now let's not pretend this is easy. It's not. Choosing to respond with clarity instead of chaos requires awareness. It requires you to step back and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will this matter 5 days from now, 5 years from now? Most of the time it won't. Most of the time silence will speak louder than any argument. Stillness will solve more than any reaction ever could. And when you begin to master your reactions, something beautiful happens. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself to everyone. You stop allowing petty things to steal your joy. You start noticing how often people confuse reaction with strength, when true power has always been found in restraint. You understand that peace is not passive. Peace is a practiced power. Don't let the world drag you into its noise. Don't let people who haven't done the work trigger you out of the work you're doing. Because when you lose your cool, you lose control. And you're too far along, too deeply rooted in your purpose to let something temporary undo everything you've been building. Train yourself every day to respond with intention. You don't have to be perfect. You'll slip. We all do. But every time you choose to rise above instead of sink beneath, you grow. You reclaim your time, your clarity, and your future. Life isn't asking you to be emotionless. It's asking you to be emotionally wise. So when the pressure rises, let your reaction be your testimony. Let it say, I've come too far to be shaken by small things. Because the one who masters their reactions masters their path. Every morning when you wake up, the world starts pulling at you. Notifications, obligations, distractions, they all come rushing in, demanding your attention. And if you're not anchored by something deeper, something meaningful, you'll find yourself drifting through the noise, the pressure, the opinions. That's why purpose isn't just a nice idea. It's a necessity. It's the compass that keeps you from getting lost in a world that moves too fast and cares too little about what really matters. You see, purpose doesn't always shout. It doesn't always come with fireworks or grand signs from the sky. Sometimes it's quiet, a pull in your gut, a whisper in your soul. But when you listen to it, when you follow it, it starts to shape how you see everything. You stop doing things just because everyone else is doing them. You stop chasing success just for the applause. You begin to live with intention, not imitation. Purpose-driven focus means choosing depth over distraction. It means asking yourself, not, what will make me look successful, but what will make this day meaningful? It means filtering your time, your energy, your relationships through a simple but powerful question. Does this align with why I'm here? Now, I'm not talking about some perfect plan or a step-by-step map to destiny. No, purpose is more like a flame. It has to be protected, fed, and tended to every day. And the world will try to blow it out with fear, with comfort, with comparison. But if you keep showing up, keep returning to what truly matters, that flame will keep you lit from the inside out. When you live with purpose, focus becomes easier because you're not just busy, you're intentional. You're not just chasing goals, you're honoring a calling. And that calling might not always be loud or glamorous, but it's yours. It might be in how you treat others, how you show up when no one's watching, how you give your best even when no one says thank you. That's purpose too. And understand this, your focus is your most sacred currency. Every moment you give to something meaningless is a moment stolen from what could have mattered. So protect your focus. Guard your mind. Say no to things that look good but drain your soul. Because not everything that glitters is gold, and not everything that's urgent is important. Sometimes living with purpose means slowing down, getting quiet, listening to what your spirit is trying to tell you. Not every opportunity is yours to chase. Not every battle is yours to fight. But the ones that are thammas, those are the ones you give your whole heart to, not halfway, not when it's convenient, but daily with devotion. And yes, there will be days when you feel off course, days when the vision feels blurry. That's okay. Purpose isn't about perfection, it's about direction. As long as you keep pointing your life toward what matters most, you're not lost. You're becoming. So live on purpose, work with intention, move like your time is valuable, because it is. And don't let the noise of the world drown out the quiet conviction inside you. Let your focus be a reflection of your values, your calling, and your deepest truth. Because a focused life, driven by purpose, becomes a legacy the world can't ignore. These days, it's easy to get caught up in the way things look. We live in a world that celebrates appearance over authenticity, filters over flaws, performance over principles. People spend hours perfecting their image, curating, posting, polishing, because they think that if they can just be seen the right way, they'll be valued the right way. But what good is being impressive if you're not being real? Image may get people's attention, but it's your character that earns their respect. And more importantly, it's your character that lets you respect yourself. See, image is what the world sees when the spotlight is on. Character is who you are when no one's looking. When there's no applause, no audience, just you. That's where integrity lives. That's where truth lives. Now, I'm not saying image doesn't matter. Presentation has its place. But when image becomes the foundation instead of the reflection, something starts to crack. Because you can't build a meaningful life on surface. You can't fake your way into peace. What looks good might impress, but only what's true will last. Character is formed in the little moments, in the way you treat people who can't do anything for you, in the promises you keep when they're no longer convenient, in the words you choose when you're angry, in how you carry yourself when things don't go your way. That's the kind of strength that doesn't always trend, but it's the kind the world needs more of. And here's the thing, your image will fade, your looks will change, the spotlight will shift, but your character, that echoes. Long after people forget what you wore or how many likes you got, they'll remember how you made them feel. They'll remember your honesty, your kindness, your humility. And that's legacy, not popularity. When you live by character, you stop chasing validation. You start walking in alignment. And that alignment, it gives you a kind of peace no applause ever could. Because deep down, we all know the difference between being liked and being real, being praised and being trusted. Character isn't always glamorous. It's not built in one big moment. It's built quietly, daily, through decisions that seem small at the time. Saying the truth when lying would be easier. Owning your mistakes when blaming someone else would feel better. Standing firm when everyone else is bending for comfort. These are the moments where real strength is revealed. Don't let the pressure to be seen rob you of the power to be solid. You weren't created to perform, you were created to be. To be grounded, to be honest, to be whole. And wholeness doesn't come from pretending you have it all together. It comes from showing up with your heart in the right place, even when no one's watching. So ask yourself, when the world moves on, when the noise dies down, when the filters fade, who will you be? What will you stand for? Will your words hold weight? Will your presence bring peace? Will your life be a mirror of truth or a mask of what you think people want? Because at the end of it all, it's not the image you project that defines you. It's the character you live. That's what carries you forward. That's what builds trust. That's what stands the test of time. Some mornings, you wake up with the weight of the world pressing against your chest. Not because something went wrong, but because life itself can feel heavy, uncertain, messy. And in those moments, you don't need a map, you need something deeper. You need faith. And you need a mindset strong enough to carry that faith through the storm. Faith isn't just about religion. It's about belief. Belief that there's something greater at work, even when you can't see it. Belief that your life has meaning, even when the path looks unclear. It's trusting that every detour, every delay, every closed door is not the end, but a redirection towards something you just can't understand yet. Now, pair that kind of faith with the right mindset, and you become a force that's hard to shake. Because mindset is the lens through which you see the world. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you frame it. You can choose to see failure as final or as a lesson. You can choose to see waiting as punishment or as preparation. People often wait for their circumstances to change before they allow themselves to believe. But the truth is, faith comes first, the mindset follows, and the change, that shows up last. So don't wait for the miracle to believe in it. Don't wait for things to be easy before you decide to trust. Start now, believe now, move forward, even with the fear whispering in your ear. Your mind is powerful, more powerful than you give it credit for. If you fill it with doubt, fear, and negativity, it will drag you down, even on the sunniest of days. But if you train it to seek truth, to find the lesson, to believe in a purpose bigger than the pain, you'll rise. You'll rise when others fold. You'll rise when the odds are stacked. You'll rise because your roots go deep. And it's not about pretending everything's fine. That's not faith. That's denial. Real faith looks straight at the chaos and says, even here, I trust. Even now, I believe. It doesn't mean you won't cry. It doesn't mean you won't question, but it does mean you don't give up, because your spirit knows this storm will pass. Faith and mindset, they work together like hands clasped in prayer. One lifts you, the other grounds you. One dreams, the other decides. And when they move in harmony, they change everything. They help you see beauty in the breakdown, wisdom in the waiting, strength in the silence. So feed your faith, guard your mind, speak life when you feel empty, hold on to hope when it feels like it's